Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to share with you a couple of my favorite muffin recipes. These are so quick and easy, and if you guys have been hanging around my channel for a little while, you know that I love to get sneaky veggies into pretty much everything that we do, and these two recipes are no different. I've got a chocolate zucchini muffin and a carrot and walnut muffin to share with you guys. They are loaded with lots of good healthy stuff. You could even have these for a quick breakfast on the go if you wanted to, but let's jump in and have a look at how easy these are. Honestly, I'm going to do the carrot and walnut muffin first, and starting by mashing 2 bananas into a bowl. I will also say both of these recipes are actually a 1 bowl recipe. So although traditionally with muffin and cupcake recipes you usually separate your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients, I don't have time for that. So both of these recipes work really well simply in the 1 bowl, whipping them up so that it's quick and easy and it's less mess. So you guys know that we are traveling around Australia full time in a caravan. We don't have a lot of room, and I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of dishes. So I like things that are quick and easy and pretty simple like this. So to my 2 mashed bananas, I have added 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and I'm going ahead and adding 1 cup of soy milk. You could use absolutely any milk that you wanted to. We just like to use soy milk, but any other plant-based milk that you have, if you're plant-based, or just regular cow's milk, will work perfectly fine in this recipe as well. I'm going to go ahead and just combine those ingredients, and we're going to go ahead and get in our veggies. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and grate a fairly large carrot. These recipes are really quite flexible. I don't use specific recipe measurements for these, other than to say that the milk and the flour is what you're going to want to measure out. Everything else is quite flexible, so if you have 2 small carrots, that would work as well. I'm going to go ahead and chop up about a handful of walnuts. It's probably about half a cup, but just go and dice them up or break them up so that they go into your muffin recipe quite easily. And again, we're just going to mix these ingredients through together now. And then we're going to get on to our dry ingredients. So as you can see, I'm just building up the wet ingredients, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in our dry ingredients. For this recipe, it is 1.5 cups of oats and 1 cup of self-raising flour. So these are a nice filling muffin. Like I said, they would make a great breakfast on the go. You can make these ahead of time, pop them in the freezer. They do keep in the fridge for a couple of days, and they make a great quick snack, and everybody really enjoys these. So once we've got our dry ingredients mixed through, we don't want to over mix it, just mix it until it's combined, and then you can go ahead and divide that up amongst your muffin tins. I'm using 2 silicone trays, and it makes 12 muffins perfectly. The other thing that I do like to do, which may help you guys, I don't know, I do split the mixture down the middle so that I can see exactly how much is half, so that I can put half into each of my muffin trays. Basically, once that's done, we're just going to want to pop it into the oven until they are cooked. I like to bake these at about 180 degrees Celsius for somewhere around 30 minutes. Now, my oven in the caravan isn't very good, so I do tend to cook on the longer side. If you're using a conventional house oven, 25 to 30 minutes should do this pretty well. I end up cooking these for about 35 minutes and they turn out fantastic. And like I said earlier, they do keep for a couple of days in the fridge, but they also freeze really well as well. So you could make up a big batch and you could stick them in the freezer and then you've got them ready to go. But have a look at this. How good does this look? They are a little bit hot. They were still straight out of the oven, but they are beautiful and chocked full of veggies. They're great with a little bit of butter and honey if you wanted to do that as well. But you could also just take them out and about in the lunchbox. They're great for us to have as we're out and about exploring, and we can just pull them out of the fridge in the car. Anyways, on to the chocolate zucchini muffins. These ones are always a bit of a hit. Slightly different recipe because I am going to use a chia seed egg in this recipe. If you've never done that before, it's really simple. It's just a tablespoon of chia seeds and 1/4 of a cup of water. You're going to want to mix them together and set that aside for about 5 minutes. What will happen is the chia seeds will absorb all of that water and they'll turn into a bit of a gel or a jelly. You'll see a little bit later on when I add this in with all the rest of the ingredients, the consistency that it makes. But if you have a recipe and you would like to make it plant-based or vegan and it calls for an egg, a really easy, simple trick is just to add a chia seed egg, and that's all it is. 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, 1/4 of a cup of water, and it replaces an egg in a recipe. This muffin recipe here, you can use 1 or 2 bananas. I only had 1 banana, so I'm only putting 1 in here. 1 cup of plant-based milk. Again, we're using soy because that's what we've got, but you could use any kind of milk that you've got. And 1 medium-sized zucchini, which is going to be grated. Now, my zucchini was quite large, as you guys can see, so I didn't mind cutting back on the banana. The only thing is the banana does add a little bit of moisture to the recipe. So as you're mixing this one together, if you have 2 bananas, you'll probably be fine. But as you'll see later on, I did end up adding a little bit of extra milk, another 1/4 of a cup, because I did find it was a little bit dry, and that was because I didn't have as many bananas as what I normally use. I'm also adding in 6 dates that I have chopped up into small pieces. This is a sweetener, so instead of adding the maple syrup like I did in the first recipe, in this one we're using dates, and there are another 2 ingredients that can be really interchangeable. This recipe then calls for 1 cup of oats and 1.5 cups of self-raising flour. So it's just the opposite of what we did the first time around. Again, you could probably interchange that and it wouldn't really matter. I am using quick oats, which will change the recipe a little bit. If you are using rolled oats, you'd possibly need to add a little bit more moisture to both of these recipes as well. This is a chocolate zucchini muffin, so of course we need to go and add some chocolate. This is just unsweetened cocoa powder and 2 tablespoons of that and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. That will just help this rise a little bit. And again, we're just going to gently mix all of this together until it starts to combine. With both of these recipes, you don't want to over mix it, so I just hand mix with a fork, and I find that that works perfectly each time. I haven't actually done either of these recipes in a mixer, a stand mixer, or anything like that. I've always done it by hand, but if you guys give it a go with a mixer, let me know how it turns out. This is the chia seed egg. As I was talking about earlier, as you can see, it's turned into a bit of a jelly consistency, and we're just going to mix that in with the rest of the ingredients now that the dry ingredients are almost combined in with our wet ingredients. As you see, as I spin this around here, there is still a little bit of flour and oats that needs to be mixed through. I was probably about 3/4 of the way of combining that all. And again, like I said earlier, I did add a little bit of extra milk because I found that this was just a little bit dry because I was only using 1 banana instead of 2. But just, you know, have a go with experimenting with your recipes. These 2 recipes are really flexible and quite forgiving, and it's a really great way to just start experimenting by changing a few of your ingredients up and using up the things that you have on hand. So here I am adding in some cacao nibs just to add a little bit of an extra chocolatey kick. You could use just chocolate buttons or anything like that that you had that you wanted to use up from your pantry as well. And again, we're just going to gently mix that in until it's all combined. With both of these recipes, the batter should have a fairly strong consistency. We should be able to scoop it up on a spoon and it should hold together. We don't want it really runny so that it's sort of sloppy and goes everywhere. And again, I'm just going to divide this up between my muffin tins. This recipe also makes 12 standard muffins. So as you can see, I've divided my batter down the middle just so that I can see approximately what half of my batter is going to be, divided between my 12 tins and in the oven for the exact same amount of time at 180 degrees. So just cook them until they are cooked through. You can use a baking skewer just to make sure that they are cooked all the way through. But you guys know your ovens better than what I do. I need to cook these for about 35 minutes. You may need to cook them for a little bit less. But once again, how good do these look? Chocked full of veggies, and again, another easy, quick snack. You could pop these in school lunches. We like to take them out and about with us as a quick, easy grab and go snack on the road or as a bit of a cheeky breakfast. So a couple of recipes there for you guys to try. Thanks so much for spending a bit of time with me.